Guys, it's Ray. Today we are going to work on a different style of Northern Lights tumbler. I have my cup prepped and painted black. I have a relatively thin layer of resin on it. I have these colors of mica powder, lavender, sea, and teal, and kiwi, ready to go. Just cheap ones, purples, blues, whatever colors, as many colors as you want. I just have a piece of paper under here that I'm going to put a little bit of each down on, and it's going to be easier for me to work from them that way. So just getting them out. I should have had them ready to go before. I'm sorry. Alright, so I just have a paintbrush. This paintbrush is probably going to end up being sacrificial, but I am just going to paint on some color. You can use a fan brush. I may have used a little too much resin or not let it sit long enough. But I'm just going to use one brush instead of wasting several. But just run your lines of color. I'm not going to worry too much about the way bottom because that is all going to get spray painted back over. So but get as much color as you want on there. And yes, my colors are going to mix a little bit. It's fine. They're all going to get mixed in a minute here anyways. So keep an eye on it and see when you think you have enough color. Hopefully you can even see this. I'm having terrible light issues today. The sun has shifted positions and I almost need to slide my table out and work the other direction, which really won't work very well in my space. Okay, I'm just gonna sprinkle a little powder on actually. So at this point, I am just going to, I'm going to use a silicone brush to do this and not my hands, but you're just going to swirl it up. Just move those micas upward. I don't know where that little piece of dried resin came from, but I want that off of there. I don't know exactly who came up with this type of technique for doing these, but I will say it is like by far the easiest way. I don't know if I can get some more of that purple in there anywhere, where there's a lot of blue on that side. I really like the purple. I don't want to do too much more. There's that little piece of resin on me again. I'll have to get that out of there. So, cheap micas, a little bit of resin, a black base, and easiest Northern Lights you can think of. And you can use less color, more color, whatever makes you comfortable. I do have my little stars out here. I'm going to sprinkle a couple of those on right now. Just a couple. I really need to get some more tiny stars. I think I have a whole jar of gold, but I don't think I have any silver. I didn't use any glow on this one. If you wanted to, you could do streaks of glow, just like the regular micas, but you don't have to. So that's it. I'm gonna let it dry. I'll come back to show you how I finished the bottom off. Okay, so I cut my stencil mask, whatever you want to call it. I weeded it backwards, so I kept the tree line but not the trees themselves. And I'm applying this in 2 pieces because of the taper of the cup. I can't just go straight around it. So I did cut the stencil kind of in half. So I'm going to come back over to here. And get this part applied. And that's pretty good. I cut this on removable vinyl, by the way. And I'm just gonna tape off any little bits of the overlap that need to be covered. Without covering any of the actual stencil part that I need. There. And I don't trust myself not to spray too high, so I'm going to take a piece of paper, and wrap my cup. And tape the rest of that off. I don't feel like going and getting the plastic wrap, so I'm just using paper and tape this time. It'll be fine, as long as I don't saturate and bleed through the paper. So I'm going to go get this spray painted, let it dry a minute, and then I will be back. Okay, so this has been drying for a bit, hopefully not too long. I typically like to remove my decals a little bit quicker than this, but you know, you get busy, you forget things. So I'm just going to start peeling, and I will come back in and get the rest of these with my weeding tool, obviously. I'm just getting the biggest chunk off this way. The last of that tape removed. Alright. I didn't really want to use this weeding tool to do this, but I think I'm going to have to, so. And there's a couple little tiny pieces here and there. Ooh, be very careful. I'm lucky I didn't just scratch that badly. I'd prefer a finer weeding tool for this, but I don't really have one currently. So, I'm just going to work my way around. We're almost done here. I didn't do too bad considering I spray painted in the dark. This little lump is where there was one of those stars that stood on its side, but it's alright. I'll live with it. So I believe that is it. That gives me my nice tree line. So, get this out of the way. I just had a little thing and I don't know where it went. Holder. This. I'm gonna pick a spot that I like for the decal. And I think I'm gonna go over this spot where I wiped like too much off. I feel like there's one more little piece right there. Sure is. Okay. So I think I'm going to put my decal over here. And I just cut a very, very simple wanderlust for this one. Cut it in kind of a coppery gold color. So I'm going to get that on my transfer tape. And we'll get it on the cup. I thought about using a silver, but I feel like I always use silver on these Northern Lights cups. So, and again, some of these stars were still a little pokey. So like that one, you can actually see the outline of the star under the wanderlust. I'm not going to get too picky about it. To me, it's still fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a coat of epoxy on this in a couple minutes, and that'll be it for it. I think it's gorgeous. Time to get epoxy on this one. Just a clear coat. Nothing fancy here. I'm not adding any additives to this one. I'm just going to let it stand alone as is. So that was this method of doing a Northern Lights cup. I think I've showed you 3 different ways at this point, so I think this is my favorite method though. I think in the future this is probably how I will do them all. So, not that I do a lot, I mean I only do a couple a year, but I'll bring you down for a close-up in a couple minutes after this spins out and settles a bit. So, I'll be back. Okay, so here it is. You can see the tree line. It's a little bit harder to see the tree line on parts of this one, just because the black is different. You don't have as solid a base of color but it is still there. If I'd done it a little higher, it would be more pronounced. And my phone is really struggling to focus on the shine on this cup. So, but there it is, finished. See, if I get any closer, it can't focus. Let me see if I turn the light around, if it's better. You can kind of see the trees. It just won't. So, that is it for this one. I hope you love it as much as I do.